If you're lucky enough to live out here in Southern California, you probably know Allie Clifton is Spectrum Sportsnet Lakers host and analyst. Allie played basketball at Toledo. She covered LeBron's Cavs in his second stint in Cleveland. Then she joined Spectrum Sports out here when LeBron, of course, joined the Lakers. This season, Allie was the first woman in the Lakers' 77-year history to call a televised Lakers game when she sat in for the great Stu Lance. Trust me, Allie was spectacular. The insight, the flavor, the depth of Laker knowledge and backstories. I was mesmerized. Good morning, Allie.
Good morning.
And I don't want to start anything here, but because, listen, Stu Lance is a legend, but did you enjoy doing that as much as it sounded like you enjoyed doing that? I
really did. And to your point, Stu is a legend. And it was such an honor. And sitting next to Billy Mack and just how comfortable he made that chair in that space, the trust from the Lakers organization, to your point, to be the first woman to do that, it says a lot. And I was truly fortunate. And I had a blast. Obviously, I played the game for a really long time. I've done some work with the WNBA, calling games. And to be able to do it at the NBA level for this historic franchise is something that is not lost on me. I didn't take the responsibility lightly, and it truly was.
Would you like to have some of that more in your future somewhere, somehow?
Of course.
Sure.
I would love to. I think, too, just being an athlete my entire life, to be able to have that chair and just be that close to the action is something that is so much fun. You know, you feel, it's almost like I want to get my kicks back out and do it again, even though my body is like, no, absolutely not. But having said that, to be connected to it in that way is just different. And of course. Good for you.
All right, let's talk Lakers, because this year's Lakers were a 500 team on February 1st, but they closed the season on a 22-10 run, 22-10. Keyshawn and I like them to make a deep playoff run. I assume you like their chances, Allie, but what's your biggest concern about them going forward?
It's not going to be the most sexy answer. It's not going to be the one that we love to hear all the time, but I think the reality is, first and foremost, as it pertains to the Lakers, it's going to be their health and their ability to stay healthy, most notably with their stars, which they have proven to this point to be able to do just that. Just 17 games combined missed between LeBron James and Anthony Davis, which in itself was impressive and spectacular. But 286 man games lost due to injury in terms of their supporting cast and the way in which they came into this season, building out their rotation. 70-plus games missed with a winner and a contributor and was supposed to be a big piece of the puzzle in Gabe Vincent. The 53 games missed with a guy like Jared Vanderbilt. You know, you talk about Christian Wood and his absence, 30-plus games. Rui Hachimura at times when it came to the early parts of the season, trying to develop the rotations and chemistry. Health matters. And I think it's something that we've talked about throughout the entirety of LeBron's career. But that's first and foremost. And then from then you can talk, you know, depth and the amount of production you're getting from the starting five with the Lakers, which since middle of February has been at the tops of the league in production. Can guys off the bench perform and produce when needed most? I think those are the things that I think about heading into the postseason.
What's your biggest concern? Just health?
It's clearly health, because if AD's not on the floor, we know what that is. I think the Lakers are 2-4, 2-5 without him playing. 2-4. So you look at that.
But it's amazing, only 2-4, so he played a whole lot of games.
Yeah,
right?
but imagine if he didn't, you know, imagine if he missed and he was in the 50s opposed to in the 70s. Then we're looking at that record as something different. So when you're talking about MVPs, right, we talk about MVP. What is a most valuable player? Yeah. Well, Anthony Davis is the most valuable player, because when he's on the floor, the Lakers are different. When he's off the floor and he's not playing for him, it's different. I don't worry about the depth as much as some people, because I don't think they go beyond, 8 deep? That's so, as long as that 8, that you start to get the Spencer Dinwiddie, you start to get the Prince a little bit, and then from there, Gabe Vincent them hadn't been here all year long, so you get into that 8 spot. Beyond that, I don't think they're going to go beyond that anyway, unless it's a blowout. Those guys aren't going to see many minutes. But as I told you before, I don't need you being 1 for 7, D'Angelo. I don't need you being 1 for 7. I need you doing what you did last night, 50% from 3. That's what I need you to do. If you're going to pull the trigger, be 50%. Same thing with our guy in Reeves. I need you to be 50%. I don't need you having 5 turnovers and mistakes being made. Yes, he plays defense and he hustles hard. Rui, I need you to finish like you were finishing last night, not like a couple nights ago when they wound up losing that game. We're sitting there going, what are y'all doing? I don't need that. And I think they'll be fine. As I said a couple weeks ago, Allie, I said I want Denver in the first round.
Ooh.
Because I feel like the Lakers are fresher.
Yeah.
So when you get to the later stages of the playoffs, that wear and tear and that excuse that he keeps saying that I'm giving LeBron James for being tired or fatigued, so to speak, that won't be the case in round one. Now, in round three, that might be the case. But if we get them early and get them out the way, that's just a better, I feel that's better for us.
Yeah, I think there is a silver lining. Now, having said all of this, the Lakers need to go in and handle business versus the Pelicans tomorrow night. We all know that. Okay, so having said that, there is that element, but it's not just for the Lakers. The Denver Nuggets are a problem for everyone in the entire league. They have proven that they are one of the most poised, if not composed, defending champions, proven to run it back with some of the greats that have done it over the years. Having said that, I think, too, from that standpoint, if you're able to catch them in a first round, you don't have 12 to 14, to your point, 12 to 14 playoff games under your belt at that point. The fatigue, you're traveling from city to city. Maybe
altitude,
you have
Denver.
the opportunity to catch them, steal one on the road, but a lot of other factors have to go right.
Yes.
You know, because the thing that Denver has done so well is that no matter who steps on the floor, their ability to whether it's flip the switch or just execute, play make, shot make, follow the leader of Nikola Jokic, who is on his way to arguably his third MVP in my eyes. It's going to take, your margin for error is very small when you're going up against the Denver Nuggets.
Okay, I'm with Allie on her first point because the reason I picked the Lakers to win it all this year was I loved this roster. When it all started, when I thought that Gabe Vincent was going to be your sharpshooter, even coming in with the shock troops off the bench, he lit up the Celtics last year. He had big games, big moments, big shots. He actually had a big game in game 2, it was, in the finals at Denver.
Yep.
He's not afraid. He'll take and make big shots and big moments. So, again, you always talk about how it's so hard to play with LeBron and the bright lights in L.A. You come out here and you're like, oh, my God. Well, I don't think that's bothering him, though the numbers say something's bothering him, because he is now, so far this year, 3 of 28 from 3. Well, I can't defend that or sell that because he's only played in 11 games because he had a knee issue, and then they scoped it, and then it went on and on and on. And it feels like he's not going to get his legs up underneath him in time to be a big contributor. I hope I'm wrong about that, but if he had played the way he can play from day one, you would have a little different look at your team because you'd be saying, when he comes in, threes start to fall. And then Jared Vanderbilt, there's no better perimeter defender to me in the league than Jared Vanderbilt. Even if he could play 15 minutes a game and take the best scorer on the other team and take a little bit of pressure off LeBron or whoever, Taurean Prince, whoever's out there. And he just feels gone to me. And I keep waiting, is he going to come back? I don't know if you've heard anything, but so far, not so good because he's not even seen the light of play.
But you got to think he's been gone for so long, though, Skip. If he was to come back next week, the week after, that's still a whole lot of time missing to be able to catch up. But I know you talk about only defending. Still got to move side to side. Still got to go lateral. Still got to get up and down the court. It's just basketball acclimated things doing it with your trainers on the side is totally different when you get on the court. She could attest to that.
Okay, I got it. And Christian Wood, I'm a big fan of his, and I thought he was going to contribute on both ends of the floor just as 14, 16, 17 minutes a night. I think he's gone for the year. I don't hear anything about him. So all this, if I give you those 3 players on your roster, I think you're looking at right now like, man, this team is loaded. And to your point, now depth-wise, it's not really loaded. You better, your first maybe 6 or 7 players better do it. And I know
that's when you get into Dinwiddie and Prince, and then maybe Vincent. Maybe that's your 8 right there with the starting 5.
They keep trying him, and he just doesn't look like Gabe Vincent. I don't know.
I think for Gabe, he can impact, as you mentioned, in a variety of ways. And I think ultimately, if the Lakers were to put themselves in a position to make a deep playoff run, at that point, you'll see the contributions in a different way from Gabe Vincent, not just defensively, but maybe hitting the open shot. I mean, just recently, plus 27 versus Memphis, coming back in just 5 games since returning. It's a good sign for Gabe, right?
Yep.
And he's up for the challenge. I think from the standpoint of Jared Vanderbilt, you make a deep playoff run. He's a guy that gives me confidence just in terms of being out there. It's not just helping the perimeter defensively, but think of the load that Anthony Davis has carried all season long at the rim.
Good. He should carry some more.
Yeah, and look, he's willing, he's able, and I think he's proven this season that he wants that challenge. But you think of how much Jared Vanderbilt can impact him at the rim. And that's where I think this Lakers team becomes an exponentially different difference maker on that side of the floor. And so I think if there is a chance for Jared to return, he can help you. I mean, it did take some time offensively for him, but at the end of the day, he is your primary defender on the perimeter. And he's a guy that when he's out there, he will make a difference no matter what. So at the same time, why look at guys, individuals who are not out there just yet? Focusing on the team that you have right now is the main priority inside that locker room.
Okay. Now, for my biggest concern that nobody talks about, this team does not defend the three-point shot, and I don't understand it because they can defend other kinds of shots, but when it comes to stopping the opponents from making threes, they don't. They're 25th in the league in opponents' three-point defense. So every night they lose the three-point shooting contest because they don't take that many, because they are a basket-attacking team. And when they're at their best is when LeBron's just playing straight downhill, because good things are going to happen if he's getting to the rim and AD getting to the rim. But I don't know why. It seems like every other night. Last time they played Golden State, remember they were making 24
that was a historic
threes.
Night, 26 threes.
26 threes. It's like, what? Because we showed a whole riff of all the threes because there's some waves, but nobody seems to care about locking down. I don't know why, but they just don't. They play decent defense. They're a middle-of-the-pack defensive team, but when they decide, like yesterday, I thought they just suffocated New Orleans because LeBron took Zion and AD took Valanciunas and just took him out of the game.
I mean, and to that point in the Golden State game specific to that, Anthony Davis was not available.
No.
And so you lose that rim protection, and then you talk about, obviously, not having maybe a Gabe Vincent at the level that you need to have, not having Jared Vanderbilt out there, not having a Cam Reddish who has proven. Again,
there's another one, Cam Reddish. Yeah,
Cam Reddish.
Okay.
But I think, to your point, when LeBron James and Anthony Davis, yesterday being the greatest example of it, since being both Lakers together as teammates, when they put their mind to something at full strength, when they are healthy, they are one of, if not the best duos in the NBA.
They just are.
And LeBron was 6 from 6 from free throw.
He was, and that was great.
Just want you to know that, Skip.
I know. Well, he made 5 in the fourth quarter. Not that it was all that close, but that was great.
Just want you to know 6-6.
All right. And he shot 74% for the year. Okay, that's not great, but you know and I know it's time now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, last quick thought on this. What hit you when you saw AD go down at the end of the game? Did you have that moment, that oh no moment of please not now?
I'll be honest with you, I did not. And I'll tell you why. This year, Anthony Davis, whether it was taking the personal challenge on himself, hearing the narrative over the years, which has been against him, he has proven time and time again, playing a career-high 76 games at the 13 most minutes, in the NBA, being available, taking different hits like this throughout the season, hip spasms, back spasms, shoulder pain, a rolled ankle. And he has completely taken the ownership and the accountability to be out there, whether that was the very next night or the next night the Lakers stepped on the floor. So when I see this, when I saw him lay on the ground, would I have thought that Anthony Davis maybe in the past would have been a concern moving forward? Probably. But in this case, in this moment, he showed me this season that is not the Anthony. He is not the Anthony Davis of old. He is different, and we've seen it from time to time.
He has. You got to admit, Keyshawn.
She's nicer than me.
Well, but he has. But he has toughed it out this year. He has toughed it out through a whole lot of knick-knack little thises and that's. Right?
Yeah, but when you're, because when it first happened, I didn't know it was his back. Because he's gingerly walking, so I'm like, what the hell did this dude just do to himself now? Because he,
and from the play where he stepped off, not to interrupt you, but from the play he stepped off, I think it happened a couple possessions before when he went up for the putback and the Larry Nance. So in the moment, you didn't see exactly what happened.
So when he's walking gingerly off to the side, the first thing come to mind for me is I'm like, this dude, here we go again. I'm like, again? That's the first thing come to mind. And yes, to his credit, he has come back from certain little nicks and bruises and bumps.
Yeah.
You know, although he didn't play the other night when he got hit in the head and everybody was trying to figure out what's wrong with him. But
The eye situation?
Yeah.
Where you couldn't see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, that.
That.
Okay, Allie brought this up. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.